So, welcome back. So as far as our route card is going now, we've already created our legs for our walk. We've got leg 1, we've got leg 2, we've got leg 3, and we've created and added those details in here. In addition, we've put in our general direction, and some of you, when we get a bit more advanced, you can do some exact bearings for the legs. We've created our distance, which goes into there, and we always do it in kilometres, please, and round it to the nearest tenth, so 1.4, for example, just there. Height climb is what we're going to talk about next. Now, this is probably one of the trickier parts of using maps, it's because height climb is not necessarily all that easy to distinguish. Now, we've got a relatively simple route here, so this is the best one to choose for you. First of all, you need to actually identify the height at which you're starting. Now, on the map, we know that contours, these orangey brown lines, are things that show height, and they show changes in height. And if you travel along a contour, there will be a number at some point. Now, the index contours, the slightly darker ones, are there to help you work out a change in height. Now, contours always face uphill. So the numbers always face uphill. So for example here, you might not be able to read it, but that one, if you're looking at the same map as me, says 45 and it's facing that way, which means the slope is going up from lower to higher. So 45, 50, 55, 60. So these contour lines on a 1 to 25,000 map are 5 metres apart. So what we've got to do is work out the height that we're at. So if you can either count up your contours to find the next number, or you can follow the contour along. Now, interestingly, this one here, that little feature there is called a spot height, and that's a spot height of 34 metres. So that contour line, it's a bit strange that it's on the contour, but that contour line is therefore going to be either 30 or 35. Now let's have a look. If we move along here, that one's 40, so that will be a 35 metre contour. So we've started at 35 and we'll note that one down. You just need to do that on a scrap of paper. So we'll just write 35. And that's the start of leg 1. Then what you do is you travel along your route and you see if you cross any contours that are going upwards. So we're passing one contour here. You just count them to start with. You can work out the height gain in a little while. So we're passing 1, we're passing 2, we're passing 3, and it's important that we know we're still going up. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then what happens is that's a spot height of 91 there. So we've gone up 11. That one is just the same contour, so we don't count that one, and we finish. So what we've got there is we've got a height of 90. So from 35 to 90 equals, if you add those up, to get from 35 to 90, that's going to be 55 metres height gain on that leg. Now, it's important to note that you only count when you go up. You don't count contours you go down, and if I do you a little profile, for example here, if you were to start at this height, here's my graph, and as we travel along in distance, and this is height, so that one's height and that one's distance, and we always have that with the x and the y. Distance is always the continuous on that x-axis, and the y is the variable. So if we start, let's say, if we say 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, if we say we start at 10 metres and we travel uphill, and then what happens is we travel downhill, and then we finish off again just here. If you just look at the height gain, the height at the start of your route, and you look at the height at the end of your route, you might say, well, I've not travelled any height. Well, that's not true, is it? Because what you've got is you've gone up to here, so that's if that was 20 and 30, you've gone up 10 metres, you've dropped down again, and you've got another 10 metres there. So rather than having a height gain of 0, you've actually got a height gain of 20 metres. Now, that's more important in the mountains. If you're going up a big mountain like Snowdon or similar, then if you didn't count any dips down and up that you did, then you could find yourself planning your route and thinking you're going to be a lot faster than you actually are. So what we do is when we travel across, we need to make sure that we are going up contours. We don't take off anything for the downs, but you always add on for every bit of height go up. So here it would be 10, 20 metres in total.